The biggest scam of higher education? University bookstores. Welcome to College Explained, where I give you my tips and tricks for having a successful transition from high school to college. I'm Austin Money, and why should you care? Well, I've spent the last decade of my life at a university, the first 6 years of which as a student and the last 4 years as a professional staff member. I've made these mistakes, I've seen students make these mistakes, and I'm here to make sure that you don't. Today we're talking about textbooks and why they're the university's largest scam. And here's some stats to back up that claim. There's been a 1,000% increase in textbook prices between the years of 1977 and 2015. Well, 1977 is a long time ago, so how do we know that that's a lot? Well, that is over triple the rate of inflation for the same time period, which has led to $10.5 million being spent at university bookstores annually. And a contributing factor to that is that 47% of students still get their books from the university bookstore. So now that you know why textbooks are absolutely ridiculous, here are my 4 tips and tricks to reducing the cost of textbooks and putting money back into your pocket. Tip number 1 is don't have the drop in the bucket mentality. If you already have thousands of dollars, it's really easy to say, oh, what's another couple hundred? Well, that couple hundred is going to be several thousand after your 4 to 5 years at university, and 10 years from now, you're going to be kicking yourself because you're still going to be paying that off. Student loans are expensive, and you need to be reducing those as much as you can every single year that you're in university by reducing the amount that you take out. Tip number 2 is always rent, never buy. Renting a textbook is going to be significantly cheaper than buying it, and more than likely you're not going to use it after that semester. I only have one textbook for my entire 6 years that I still use to this day, and it was a good purchase. But all of the others, never see them. I don't even remember what they are. And after renting it for an entire semester, if you feel like you're going to use this 5-10 years down the road, then at that point you can go back to the bookstore and say, hey, I would like to buy this, and more than likely they're going to take that renting for the semester off of the purchase price. Tip number 3 is never buy your book before syllabus day. Syllabus day is the first day of the semester where for 10 to 15 minutes in class you just cover the syllabus, and more likely than not you get to leave after that. It's the best day of the year. But until that point, you don't know if you're going to use your textbook. More than likely, your professor is going to lecture on what's important, and he's going to test on what's important. So if you're showing up to class every single day and taking really good notes, that's all that you need to study. You don't need a textbook. So if you can determine day number 1 that the lecture is all that you need, then you can save yourself a few $100s. And tip number 4, just don't use your university bookstore. The only exception to that hard and fast rule is if you have scholarship money that will only let you purchase textbooks at your university bookstore. Spending more money of someone else's money for textbooks is always going to be better than spending less money of your own for textbooks. We always want to spend other people's money. Step number 1 of alternative methods is to see if it's free online. There's a lot of open educational resources and open source books out there, and if your professor is using an old enough textbook, then it might be free online. And one of those websites is oer.org. Alternatively, you can type in Google PDF and then the title of your book. Now, there is a very fine line between stealing textbooks and open source textbooks. I'm never condoning stealing textbooks. Step number 2 is to see if the library has it. The library has a lot of the textbooks used in a lot of the introductory and popular classes. So just talk to your librarian and see if they have it. That's 100% free. Now make sure that you go early enough because all of your other classmates have the same idea, and typically the library is going to have a reduced number of copies. Step 3 is to see if you can borrow it from classmates. On syllabus day, if you determine that you do need the book and you don't have it yet, more than likely all of your classmates have the book already because they didn't watch this video, and you could borrow it from them. So they're not going to use it 7 days out of the week, so come up with an agreement to see when you can borrow it. And if you have to pay them $10, $20, that's so much better than the couple hundred, and it's a win-win for both of you. You're not spending a few $100s on a textbook, and they're making $20 free because they already have the textbook. Another method, if you're going into a class with a few friends that you know already, is you can split the cost of a used textbook 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways, and then share that throughout the semester. And that leads into tip number 4, use a secondhand bookstore. Don't use your university bookstore. More than likely, you have several options right around your campus where you can get used books at a significantly cheaper rate than your university bookstore. So if you can't find them for free, if you can't find a classmate that's willing to let you borrow it, then you can go out on your own and get the textbook. Two options around Missouri State University is textbooks and student book exchange, and those are significantly cheaper than the university bookstore, and they do offer renting options and purchasing options. Those are my 4 tips and tricks for helping you spend less money on textbooks, and if you found this video helpful, hit that like button so I know this is the type of content that you're interested in. And if you want to be a part of our community, I'm putting out 2 to 3 videos every single week geared towards giving you the tools that you need to succeed. I'm proud of you, I love you, and I'll see you next time.